Hello friends. So we have modern fiction today. Modern novel. Actually the original title was Modern Novels by Virginia Woolf. It is written here, Virginia Woolf. Modern novel, that is the original title. Now we know it as modern fiction. But it was written in 1919 and then published 1921 along with short stories, Monday or Tuesday. A series of short stories, Monday or Tuesday. Then what happens, it's very interesting. There is, have you had this question about Virginia Woolf? Who is afraid of Virginia Woolf? Who is afraid of Virginia Woolf? Nobody is afraid of Virginia Woolf, but here when you read this essay, you are afraid of her. Why? Because she is angry. She is very angry with some novelists whom she calls materialists. It is an angry outburst, you can say. Angry outburst. And he calls some novelists materialists. Why does she call these novelists materialists? We will see later. This is only an introduction. So this is one. You can give the number 1 here because it's only an introduction. Okay? So here what happens is, it's a kind of manifesto, you can say. It's an angry outburst. It is a manifesto. Manifesto of a modern novelist. A modern novelist, there's an appeal, a very emotional appeal, you can say, to move from Victorian realism. The novelist should move from Victorian realism to a new territory. A new territory. What is the new territory? That is, because those whom she praises, she calls spiritualists. So it is spiritualists. Not that they are going to the temple or the church or always meditating, not in that sense. We will see why. Because this is an introduction I told you. Now she is asking questions like this, She angry outbursts. She asks some rhetorical questions. That is life like this? After reading novels, these novels, I will tell you the names of these people: H.G. Wells, Arnold Bennett, and then you have got John Galsworthy. These are the 3 novelists whom she calls materialists. And then after reading these novels written by them, you will ask questions like this, like Virginia Woolf herself. Is life like this? She asks, is life like this? Must novels be like this? Is life like this? Must novels be like this? Is it the method that inhibits the creative power? Question mark. Because you don't expect an answer to this, so it is rhetorical questions. Yes. Is this? Then is it due to the method that we feel neither jovial nor magnanimous after reading this? Neither jovial nor pleasure, nor magnanimous. That means we don't feel our emotions. No emotions at all. So to say, no joy, no happiness, nothing of that, no pleasure. The end of fine art is pleasure. That's what Aristotle said. There's no such. Now, before we get into this, so actually what she is trying to tell you is inspiration versus method. That's the point. Inspiration, she is aiming at that. Inspiration versus method. Is it because of a method? Is it because of a method that you are not going according to your inspiration? That is, again there is a binary here, a binary opposition. This is one binary opposition, inspiration versus method. The other is, the opposition is tyrant or tyrann, some people pronounce it. Tyrant versus slave. The book managers, the book industry, the publishers, she calls them tyrants or tyranns, some people pronounce it as like that, and the writers are slaves. The writers are compelled to follow a certain method dictated by these book managers or publishing houses, big publishing houses. They are, for example, they are in a way they are inhibiting the inspiration of the writers. That is what she says. So inhibiting that. They are asking them to adopt certain methods. They have to write according to certain method dictated by these people. Philistines, you can say. To use the language of Mathew, you can say Philistines. Philistines are slaves of the Philistines. Writers have become slaves of the Philistines. That's what she says. Is life like this? Must novels be like this? Is it because due to their method that we feel neither jovial nor magnanimous? There's no effect on your heart? Is it the method that inhibits the creative power? Again she is asking. Now, I think you got the mode of Virginia Woolf. It's an outburst. At the same time, you can consider it as a guide for modern writers. You can also consider it as a manifesto of modern novelists. So that much is clear, I think. It is a guide, it is an outburst, it is a manifesto, and it is arguing for inspiration rather than method, and also asking the writers to free themselves from the clutches of these big publishing houses or book managers. So that is the context in which it is written. Now about Virginia Woolf is very interesting. When she says Virginia Woolf, if you say William Shakespeare, you can just say Shakespeare, you will be alright. William Wordsworth, you say Wordsworth will be alright. There's no point in always saying William Wordsworth, William Shakespeare. Or T.S. Eliot, you can say Eliot. It's also alright. But Virginia Woolf, you cannot say like that. As a peculiarity of this name. See, if you say Woolf, Mrs. Woolf, see, it looks strange, you know. Also, although we know it, but still, if you say, where is Mrs. Woolf? Mrs. Woolf's novels. So you have to always say Virginia Woolf. And if you say Virginia, even that won't work. So this is the peculiarity of this name, that both names you have to use. You cannot say, for example, during conversation or in an informal chat and so on, you can say Wolf. First time when people hear something, they will be, so who is afraid of Virginia Woolf? They will ask. Right? Yes, that's another thing. Now this is again, I say, it's a clarion call for originality. Understand? It is a clarion call for originality. It is actually, she is fighting for absolute and unalloyed freedom for writers and their writings. So we can say like this, as introduction we can say, this is a manifesto, then this is a guide, you can say, a guide, an angry outburst against materialism and also slavery of writers, some slavery of writers. You can say this is a fighting, in fact, a fight for originality fight originality. What originality? What kind? Absolutely free. An artist, a writer should never be hindered by anything except that inspiration. Only inspiration. Understand? So it is a clarion call, you can say. It's a clarion call for freedom, absolute freedom. So the essay, the nature of this essay, you can understand when you use these expressions. Or the nature of this essay can be, or even content of the essay can be described like this. It is a manifesto for modern novelists. It is a guide. It is an angry outburst. It is all for originality, and there is a clarion call for freedom, absolute freedom. I think this much is clear to you. All right. This is our point number 1. And the second point is, see, what we say is, when you look at the pain, you can say, or the anger is caused by what? You see, you in cultural studies you might have come across Horkheimer and Adorno, culture industry, form like films or cultural product section. They are producing products according to certain formula. Say commercial films, Indian commercial films, you know. Say not only Indian, any commercial film. There will be a hero, a heroine, a villain. Then there will be some comedy here and there, sprinkled there, here and so on. There will be a fight, and then there will be a few dance sequences, some songs here and there, and some unimaginable happenings. See, like as you will find Badusha, this is the film Badusha, starring Amitabh Bachchan. You can see from where, some we don't know. From heaven or hell, Badusha comes whenever there is a trouble. And he at other times, he acts in a different way. So he comes as a different person. These things, you know, it is even beyond all our boundaries of imagination. But still, people like it because they are these films are made in such a way. There is an angry young man fighting against social injustice. So that is the theme. And then almost all the films in which Amitabh Bachchan is acting, you will find this kind of fight between the forces of corruption and forces of justice. Some or the other you will find. Then there will be some romance and all this. So this is called making films according to certain formula. So she says that now these days, novelists write novels according to formula. That's what she said, formula. So it is something like the product of a culture industry. Understand? So she said that they are materialists. These people, Galsworthy and Arnold Bennett, H.G. Wells, they are materialists. But they are concerned about the Forsyth Saga, for example. It's a family story. How many family stories we have had? Plenty of them we have. Isn't it? Yeah, but then adding one more with this kind of certain spices here and there. See, some story, some romance. So she is actually what she is doing is that she is appealing, or she is asking the novelist to adopt certain new techniques, not just this kind of narration. Some new stuff. Bring in some new stuff. This is just a repetition of this thing. Understand? But at the same time, she says, she makes 3 remarks in the beginning. See, 3 remarks. You know, another very important point about her is that she is the one who, she is actually known for stream of consciousness technique in fiction, stream of consciousness. You can also call her a feminist. Yes, a feminist. She is a postmodernist. You can call her a postmodernist. She is feminist, she is postmodernist, then and you can also say that she has this. Of course, there's a fact that the stream of consciousness technique. Some break from the past. You have seen Bhuvanisham, no? The film, the short film, Bhuvanisham, you know that? You can see that it's a groundbreaking film. See, railway officer, he's going, he's fed up with his work, he goes for hunting, and then there he meets all these things are background is Bengal. She meets a damsel, a young lady, a village girl, and they become friends, and she becomes her guide. And finally, at the time of parting, but you should see, my narration won't be that vivid because the film is so meticulously made, I should say. So at the end of that, she says, you know, this particular railway officer, yes, my husband is working there. He has been caught for taking bribes. You please somehow manage to save him. See, that's a groundbreaking film, breaking film. Not like the commercial films where this. I have just mentioned such films. So she also says the same thing. She says what you should do is there should be something new. See? And then he says that the modern practice of writing, that is point of first observation. What about the modern practice of writing? Modern practice of writing novels, he says. In the beginning she makes three observations. One is this. The modern practice of writing fiction is improvement, a great improvement upon the novelists or practice of writing of the novelists of yesteryears. This is why we said that she is Janus-faced. She is Janus-faced. Janus, you know, the goddess Roman goddess from whom you with January, the name January. Why do you call her? Why do you call this goddess Janus-faced? Because she has two faces. One looking back, the other looking forward. January is like that. You look back and then also look forward. So she says she is comparing novelists of yesteryears and modern novelists. So she is a Janus-faced writer, you can say, a critic, you can say. There's plenty of improvement, she says. Think of Henry Fielding and Jane Austen. With their meager materials and the technique available those days, they are not wonderful novels, agreed. There is a simplicity, a grandeur you will find in their novels. But today it's not like that. You have got your techniques have improved, your materials, you have got your knowledge of the world just widened. See? And therefore she says, although there is improvement in modern writing, that is not up to the mark. Pride and Prejudice, for example. Emma, Man's Will Park, they are great novels. But when you compare the historical situation of those writers and historical situation of these writers, we are placed at a much better position. Therefore, she says, this is not the way that the present writer should write. Already I told you she gave us a new technique in fiction, that is stream of consciousness technique. So, the first point that she makes is that there is no doubt there is an improvement in writing novels, and we should be thankful for these writers. Then the second point he says that compare making machines. There's an analogy here. Making machines and making literature. Machines and making literature. So this is the attack. When you think about novelists of yesteryears and compare them with the present one, we have improved. But he says, what improvements? What solid improvement these new novelists have made? And then he compares this machine making and making literature. Machine making, if you say from 16th century to this tremendous improvement. Think of your car. The car in those days and car these days. They improved, tremendous improvement. Improvement in machine making that we cannot even conceive of. That much of improvement. But what about making literature? She says it is zero. What do these people do? They just move this side or that side, or add something here or there. It's a kind of circular tendency, she says. So in making literature, what you find is circular tendency. Circular tendency. What is circular tendency? You start from here, go there and come back here, same place. You come back to square one this. They move a little to this side or that side or this side, and then come back to the place where they have started. There's a circular tendency. So she is, in fact, she is lamenting this situation. And the third, she says, what should we do? Third, which road you should take? The road to be taken. The road to be taken by the novelist. See? Should we go to the desert, the arid desert, or should we take the road to the fertile lands? Should we novelists? Should we go to the fertile lands, or should we go to the desert? The novelists of yesteryears, they have won their battle. So that's what she said. They have won their battle. There is a serene air of accomplishment as far as novelists of yesteryears are concerned. I have already given you names of Jane Austen and Henry Fielding. She said novelists. There is a serene feeling of accomplishment. They have done something. But what have the present novelists done? Nothing. Practically nothing. In machine making there is improvement, but in making a literature there is no improvement, especially as long as we think about this writing fiction. And that is what pains her. That is the immediate context of writing this modern fiction. It's a modern fiction. Understand? So what we have done so far is, I told you it's only an introduction. We will see more about materialists. We will see about spiritualists. She is listing the supreme among the spiritualists. She gives the position to, that envious position to James Joyce. Portrait of the artist as a young man, Ulysses. The materialists and spiritualists, in one word, if I want to explain now as an introduction, the materialists are concerned with the worldly affairs. The dress of a character, the hairstyle of a character, whether the character wears a t-shirt or a full shirt, or whether he is addicted to smoking or not, and the love affair, some love interest. These are the things these people have always. See, it's like making a curry. In a curry, you have got certain ingredients. No? You must. Sometimes color may be different. Sometimes instead of using potato, you may be using tomato. But the curry remains the same. Exactly like that, modern novels are like that. They have got some ingredients. These ingredients you will find in every novel. These are all material. Material means these things that we know, you come into contact with. But what about, say, the food habits of a character? Right? The dress of a character, the way he walks or she walks. Such things, what is after all? It's nothing. A description about the family, members of the family and so on. This is materialism, not the Marxist materialism. And then spiritualist means, he says, psychological now. What is going on in the mind of a person? What is going on? When you are, some days you may be a factory worker, but that work, his work or her work and the result of the work, the products that he makes is unimportant. That's important for materialists. For spiritualists, while she is working, what is going on in her mind? The psychological knowledge. That is stream of consciousness. See, I may be standing and talking to you now. A stream of technique or my mind, what is going on in my mind, nobody knows. Because only 50% of my mind I am using for talking to you. The other 50% is a lot of things are going in, comings and going in. All the thing I did today. Why I got up late today? Where did I go? Today actually I went to my father's, my ancestors' home. So when I am talking to you, those things are coming to my mind. If I am a novelist, I am not a novelist. If I am a novelist, what I would do? I would be writing about those things rather than what I am talking to you, about what I am talking to you. What I am talking to you is materialism. What is going on in my mind is spiritual. So that is the difference between spiritualist and that. James Joyce is a spiritualist because Joseph Conrad, another great writer. Thomas Hardy, he is also a spiritualist according to Virginia Woolf. To what extent Thomas Hardy is a spiritualist, and so you will have to find out. You see, but James Joyce, of course, yes. Joseph Conrad also. See, spiritualist means they are more concentrating on the working of the mind of the character. Materialists, they are more concerned about the outside things, like a dress and things like that. That is the basic difference. Now we will see that this is only an introduction. We will see, we will get into this sooner or later, say within 2 or 3 days time. And I think that it will be over by next week also. Now this is, next week, that means by next week, Thursday also, I think that the whole thing can be discussed. And if you have got any doubt, etc., we can, of course, you can always contact me. I hope that you have been following, and we will, till we meet again for the next lecture. Bye. Have a nice time. Enjoy your